Well, howdy. It has been a while since I've been in front of the camera, and I have to admit, I've been looking forward to doing it some more. When I first started doing this, I was real uncomfortable being in front of the lens, like a lot of people are, really awkward feeling. But once you get used to it, it's a whole different thing. Anyway, I wanted to today talk about the pantry. Okay, now I've had discussions about my pantry in the past, but this one is a little bit different. I wanted to discuss actually a type of prepping that people do. Now, if you're wondering, hey, is this guy a prepper? Well, in a manner of speaking, yes, and also no. If you're thinking I have a cabin in the woods that I go and hide in if the world is not measuring up to my standards, no. I don't have that. What I do have is just a sense of balance in my life and being prepared. All right, so what I'm thinking, we have just gotten finished with a period of time where there's a lot of problems, okay? And we had a pandemic, and there was a lot of people that at the beginning of that and throughout that time ended up suffering what we refer to as food insecurities. Okay, and food insecurities are nothing to laugh about. That's some serious stuff. People get scared when the times are rough. Not just kind of ordinary scared, but I'm talking like really bad. What are we going to do? How do we get through this? And you start, trying to figure out ways of paying for food that maybe should have already been stocked. When the whole thing happened, I did have a well-stocked pantry because I like being that little Boy Scout that keeps everything around, okay? I want everything on hand and to be handy and for everyone to be prepared around me. So what I have done here is I've prepared for the two of us that live here. I have prepared our pantry in such a way that it's designed to get us through many, many months. And what I'm trying to do is to get it to a point where if we weren't able to get to a store to get food, that we've got what we need for about a year's time. You might be thinking, wow, that's a lot of stuff. Yeah, it is. Okay, let me give you an example of how I think on this. Let's say if a person is planning on consuming maybe 8 cans of Spam per year. Maybe that's what they normally go through is 8 cans of Spam per year. Well, then it would be smart to have 8 cans of Spam on hand, and then each time you use a can, you simply replace it. You put it at the bottom of the stack, and that way you're always pulling the older stock. Just a smart way of doing things, folks. You have food there if things go bad, but if not, then, well, the food's just there and you're doing your regular shopping, where you write things down on a shopping list and all of that. Anyway, I wanted to just kind of show you what the pantry looks like. It's not perfect. It's not absolutely perfectly organized, but there's a lot of stuff there. And it's organized in such a way that it can get us by for many, many, many months. And then when I use up something, I just put it on my list. I get that item and put it in the bottom or in the back of the stack, and then front the older stuff. It's just the same way that stores do when they restock their shelves. They pull the older merchandise to the front, put the new in the back. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing here. I tell you what, let's come a little closer. Let's take a look inside the pantry, and we'll have some idea of what's really going on. Yeah, those are boxes of wine. I'm cheap. I do that. They're not bad. Give it a try. Now, at first glance, it just looks like a pile of food in a cabinet. Let me kind of get some things out of the way here and take a deeper look. I normally keep my pasta noodles in another location, so they are taking up a bit of space right now. There we go, if I get my reach out of the way. This way, now you can kind of see the thinking here. You can see how I've got these diced tomatoes here. I've got tomato sauces behind the diced tomatoes. We've got these cans of paste, and I've got a lot of stuff here stacked very high. Behind these cans, more items, again, canned. So we've got canned corned beef there. I've got some canned Spam there. I've got behind all of that, there's cans of chicken. And I need to get some canned ham to add to all of this, because, you know, the thing of it is if things go really bad and you can't get refrigerated food, or if you have no electricity to keep it refrigerated, then things like these canned meats really become absolutely special. Something more than they just appear to be on the surface. I'll tell you what, let's get in there, take just a little closer look. All right, now we get a little bit deeper look in here, and you can see, like in the very back there, I have some boxes. Those are boxes of broth. Now, I normally keep 4 beef and 4 chicken around, but I might increase that to 6 of each, you know, to be well stocked for emergencies. And of course, I can see some macaroni and cheese boxes. Hey, if you like that kind of stuff, go ahead and save some. I don't keep a lot of it around because I know how to make pasta, and I keep a lot of flour. I also have some other pastas that I have, so I can make my own mac and cheese my way. But having some of those boxes can be a nice emergency backup and a nice tasty treat. All right, so consider that. Over here we've got fruits and vegetables, and you can see chili up there. So I've got cans of chili and refried beans, and so the right hand side is just chock full of multiple items. And again, what I have to look at is how many cans of Wolf brand chili will I consume in 1 year. If the number is 6, then I need 6 cans of Wolf brand chili on hand if I'm going to have a 1 year stock of everything. So that's kind of my way of thinking, and you just have to pick what your stock should look like and how much. Now, I've got some really deep pantries here. I'm very fortunate that I was able to have this space to build with. And I was able to do a lot. Let's see how I've done some of the other parts of this pantry. Now, if we take a deeper dive into my pantry here, you kind of get an idea of what I've done with all of these containers. Some of them are very practically packed. Like this one, I have some pasta, but there's also beans in here of a variety of kind, and some pastas, also some cereal grains, and I've got, like, you know, breading, things like that. Okay, very handy to have. Behind it, as I mentioned, I keep a certain amount of pasta. So boom, there's more pasta and some of my potato flakes. I need a lot more potato flakes because that's a good survival item. And they keep for a long period of time. It's like if I use them 2 years from now, they're still just perfectly good potato flakes. So you can see nice and deep here. Also, some things I'll keep around just in bags like this that I can grab if I'm doing a lot of baking. Lately, I've been making bread, so I've got that. Down here, coffees. In the back of the bottom here, I've got a huge amount of rice. So I've got a new bag of basmati here, one on top that I'm finishing up right here. So I've got a lot of rice here. This is emergency provision that is as good as it gets. All right, and in the very back of the bottom next to this, I have a bin that's full of flour, okay? Not just in the bin, but flour that's in other bags that's set in there. Now I have like some flour that's good for making cakes, good all-purpose flour, and then also in another location, I have a 50-pound bag of my high gluten flour. I usually keep anywhere from 40 to 100 pounds of flour on hand at any time. I'm usually well prepared if there's an emergency. Sometimes buying in bulk can make a lot of sense, even though you might think, I don't want that much flour. I don't want to have 50 pounds of flour. That's too much flour. For some people it really is. I mean, if you use 5 pounds of flour a year, 50 pounds would be stupid, right? But for me, because I make bread, I make my own pasta, I do stuff with flour, okay? I use it. So, for me, it makes sense. Let me show you something else I keep. I have one of these that's about 1/3 full, and then this one. This is the second one in a package of 2. This is a package of yeast, and this is the commercial kind of yeast. I think if I remember right, I got this at Sam's. By the way, that's not an endorsement. Just saying, hey, that's one of the places that you can purchase bulk, like restaurant items, restaurant grade items. So this is food service yeast. It's a lot of yeast, but here's the thing. Why would I pay $5 for one of those little jars of yeast in the grocery store when I can pay $7 and get 2 of these big vacuum sealed blocks of yeast that will last me for years? Obviously a better buy to buy in bulk. I don't have to buy at Sam's. I can go through a restaurant supply. I do that all the time. That's where I got my 50 pounds of flour. I just had it shipped to me from a restaurant supply. So folks, consider these things. Having stuff in bulk like this, if times were really, really bad, you would always have a way of making bread, because all you have to have is flour, yeast, salt, and water, and you're making bread. In fact, you don't even have to have the salt. Flour, yeast, and water will get you bread. Imagine. Basically French bread. Good stuff. Right? So consider buying in bulk, and there's a lot of neat stuff. If you like cornbread, keep plenty of cornmeal on hand. I'm about to increase the amount I keep on hand, not because I use it a lot, but because it's very bulky and heavy, and it makes a good item to save for a bad day. Cornbread ain't bad. It's some good stuff. And a lot of people have fed themselves with beans and cornbread. Remember the Great Depression? Beans and cornbread. Okay, so those pinto beans went a long way, folks. Okay, so please, if you would, consider your pantry again. Consider how you stock it. Think about tomorrow. Remember, the weather isn't getting better. We've had a lot of inclement weather. A lot of crops got hit really hard. It really affected a lot of things. It affected a lot of people. And as a result, we're going to see higher prices on flour, beans, all kinds of different things. You need to really look closely at keeping plenty of that around. Number one, you save money by buying in bulk. And number two, because it keeps you from having the fear of food insecurity. If you're well stocked on your ingredients, food insecurity isn't an issue, okay? And that's a nice relief for a person or a family to have. So please consider that for you and for yours. All right, so there it is. There's my pantry. That's just all I wanted to talk about, was just that. And if you would, please subscribe. Click that like button. You know, all that normal stuff. If you haven't already subscribed, click the bell when you subscribe. And that way you'll get notifications when I post. Yeah, I know. For those of you who watch my videos, it's been a long time since I've posted, and I apologize. I had to have surgery, and there was a very long healing process involved, and it looks like I'm about to have another one. Hopefully the healing won't be as long for the next one. And I'm not going to get into the details, but nonetheless, I'm going to get myself taken care of. We're going to be making videos a lot more now. Right now I'm about to make another video, and I'm about to change the way I do some of my cooking videos. So take a look at the next one that's going to be coming out after this, and that's going to be me making some pinto beans. That's what I'm about to do now. I want to make some charro beans. Anyway, subscribe, click like, drop a comment down below. I want to hear from my regular viewers. It's good to hear from you guys, always. And again, I apologize for the delay. We're back. Going strong. Thank you.